Hell was the best word to describe the Moon, Connecticut estate. The mansion resembled a demon's lair and could serve as a horror film director's dream setting. Dark and untamed, it promoted an underworld quality. Yet everything on the sweeping grounds also held a sense of harmony, as if the neglect, almost perfect in its precision, had been carefully executed. A thick arc of dead rose bushes encircling a lopsided fountain of capering cherubs boasted stark, disconcerting symmetry, while a large overrun garden, lifeless herb patch, and circular clump of dogwood possessed an oddly unsettling order. Situated on the far eastern corner of the estate was an elaborate stone gazebo, enfolded by lifeless ivy, twisted like sinewy, arthritic arms. Beyond it stood a perfectly aligned grove of cedars. With its unique aesthetic quality, the land was reminiscent of futurist artist Giacomo Balla's later figurative works. Wind speed was 0 and precipitation nil, and there was a subtle but pleasant hay-like scent in the air. It was quite warm for the middle of November in the Nutmeg State, but a chill capered up my spine nonetheless. I chuckled. Leave it to Matilda Rain Moon, born Fun, my ever-enchanting and doughty aunt, to live in a pleasingly gruesome place like this. And leave it to her to devise this crazy one-week extravaganza, which involves several people having to remain on the deceased grande dame's estate for 7 days to each inherit $200,000. Catch. The 150-year-old house was haunted. A ghost named Fred roamed the upper hallways. Apparently he didn't swing chains, moan or groan or bang on walls, but he was known to belt out a mean round of Little Brown Jug. Thomas Saturn, a Manhattan lawyer who'd overseen the reading of the will, had different theories as to who the 6-foot-tall spook was. A 19th-century gun-and-whip-wielding outlaw who'd fled north in an attempt to escape legal retribution. B, a lascivious servant who'd pissed off the stableman by playing house with said stableman's wife. C, a hobo who'd snuck into the house and gotten trapped in a passageway or cubbyhole. Or D, a combination thereof. The drive from Wilmington, North Carolina, had been tiring, but then I'd only had about 6 hours of sleep in the last 3 days, thanks to Tom and Jer, who'd suddenly become stricken with the flu. Yeah, and there were Chinook winds in Cuba. Tom and Jer were fellow anchors at a local Wilmington television station where I worked as a meteorologist. The young, loud, self-absorbed sportscasters, jocks, got away with a lot because they were young, loud, and GQ good-looking. Yes, I could have, should have, taken a flight. But a scenic drive promised more of an adventure. And truth be known, I wasn't a keen flyer, not after having been on a Miami-bound plane that had been struck by lightning. Referring to that as one of the scariest moments of my life would have been an understatement. To maintain energy on the trip here, I'd devoured a dozen Belgian chocolate truffles and 4 Cokes. When I'd stopped to stretch legs in Greenwich, 2 industrial-sized creamy caffeine-infused drinks had put pep in my pace and oomph in my air. 4 walkers, 1 French poodle and twin beagles at Greenwich Point Park were probably still determining if the entity they'd seen whiz past was a bird, plane, or person who'd sucked back a Red Bull 4-pack. Had I mentioned if all 7 guests managed to stay the course, each one would receive the same amount? If one departed early, his or her share would be divided among the remaining lot. If 6 people departed, the last person standing would receive the whole shebang. And if everyone left, select charities would share it all. How fabulously movie time was that?